if you're anything like, so my husband's right there, that's Jan. Um, if you're anything like us, we spent incredible amounts of time together, 24/7, sleeping very little, talking late into the night, right? And so I know you guys have been here before. So we talk a lot about the sound house, right? And John Gottman. And we use John Gottman's theoretical perspective a lot and his strategies. And he uses the idea of this house. And if you look at the house on the very bottom, on the foundation, like I would say the most important level is friendship. And when you think back about friendships in your life, right, you're starting like elementary school and then college and then maybe work friendships, what builds a friendship is focused time over time doing shared interests. And so I would say, the same is true for committed relationships when you get married and when you're dating. When we build that friendship, it's because we're spending focused time together using, sharing shared interests. Um, John Gottman talks about this emotional bank account. And I like that analogy too, because he's basically says that when we spend time together, we're making deposits into an emotional bank account. And so I want you to kind of think about that and think about a new couple, like they just met. And just like we had talked and you thinking back about your own start of your relationship, they're putting a lot of deposits into this emotional bank account. And maybe they have a cushion, maybe they've got a savings in this emotional bank account. And they get married, they have kids, they start careers, maybe they have to move, and as time goes and they get busier, they make withdrawals from the bank account. And they don't even kind of notice that they're making them, right? And it gets harder and harder to make deposits because they've got responsibilities, And as time goes on, what they're not noticing is that the balance of their emotional bank accounts kind of getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And at some point, they make a small withdrawal, it could be small, insignificant, something they're not even paying attention to. And suddenly they're overdrawn. They have an argument. They're like, why are we having this argument? We're so confused. It was just a small withdrawal, right? And yet we've got nothing left in our bank account. And so this small withdrawal causes a big problem. And so the point is that in life we make withdrawals, just like we talk about like conflicts unavoidable. Leslie gave a great talk about that. Conflicts unavoidable, it happens. So are withdrawals. Like life happens, we've got kids, we've got responsibilities. But so you're going to have withdrawals, but what's important to remember is the deposits are important. And Gottman talks about like anything can be deposit, like you guys were here for that talk about making bids, like the small things, the turning towards, those are like small change. Like we're putting it, they're important, but they're kind of small deposits. But Gottman talks about the big deposits that really build that bank account. And that is focused, exclusive, uninterrupted time with your partner. And that's kind of and I'm talking about no phones, no work, no kids, really getting away and making that deposit. Um, and uh, I also gave a talk. I don't know if you guys were here. I gave a talk about marriage maintenance, and it's sort of the same idea. When you think about like our bodies, we spend so much time like we pay for gym memberships, we work out, hopefully, and our homes. We spend a lot of money doing DIY projects, or we get them renovated, and we spend time taking care of the lawn or whatever it is. We make a lot of deposits in a lot of areas of our life, but sometimes we forget to make a deposit in our marriages. And I had a really wise friend who told me one day, she's like, if you're going to spend money extravagantly, spend it on your marriage. Like that's where we should, like that's the priority for spending money and time. And I would agree with her. Um, and sometimes, there's a lot of obstacles. And one of the things is like, oh, the obstacle is, well, we can't leave our kids, or we can't leave, we can't leave work. And again, a little bit like what Rachel said is what we forget is we're a model. Like people are watching. And if you think back to your childhood, what would you have given to see your parents go off and have fun? Like I had my parents were happily married, they're a good couple, but I didn't see them go off and have fun. Like just to see them enjoy each other, like really enjoy each other. I would have loved that. Like what a great model it would have been to have made marriage attractive that way. And so I feel like, and other people are watching, not just our kids. So I feel like it's really an important sort of demonstration or an important model we give for people around us. Um, so an example, I know it's hard to get away. It's very hard. And Jan's here, so he can back me up on this. We went to extreme lengths to get away um, once a year or every other year. We had 6 children in 11 years. And there were some grueling years. There were years we were like, oh my gosh, this is tough. I didn't bring in an income at the time. He was on a city salary, and we had no family. So I was like, okay, we got to get creative. We got to figure this out. We did have a guest bedroom. So I put in the local college, like the job board for college, and I said, come live with us. We're going to give you a guest bedroom. We're going to give you food. And in return, you're going to give me babysitting time. We did that for 5 years. Pluses and minuses, right? But these women who lived with us, they became good friends and took good care of our kids. And I didn't have to pay for babysitting. So one year, I had someone who had a family member who had a rental in Bermuda that she couldn't rent for 1 week in October. She said, you can have it. And October, I didn't have to pay for babysitting. The rental was free. And I thought, okay, we gotta leave. So for 5 days we left. And I remember thinking, will the kids be alive? They were 11, 9, 7, 5, 3, and 1. And I thought, and will the babysitter still be there when we get back? So they were. But I just remember how important that time was, those memories. It was an incredible moment for us. I mean, we did very little of that at the time. So it was like, oh my gosh, what a huge deposit that was in the most important years to make that kind of a deposit. Um, and um, and so that's the kind of so what I guess the point I wanted to leave here is, um, you know, basically that friendship is the basis of any marriage. Friendship requires focused time together, uninterrupted, without kids, without phone, without work. And that it's the big deposits that get us through the withdrawals that we don't even notice. So all that conflict, if you've got that cushion of an emotional bank account, you're really going to sail through better than if you're letting that account go down. So tonight, it's a really good time to do an audit. I want you to do an audit and ask yourselves, okay, where are we? Are we in the black? Have we got some savings? Have we got a cushion? Or is it the time to really start thinking, okay, what kind of creative ways can we get that kind of time? Like what kind of boundaries do we need to make? Who do we need to lean on for a little, childcare or whatever it's going to be, so that we can actually, what kind of cheap ideas can we pull together to get away? So that's really what I want to leave you with is life is an adventure with your best friend. And I'm more in love with this man than ever. And I really attribute that to making this dedication to spend time and pouring into our emotional bank account against the odds.